Hi, I'm Cantor Meir Barchichat. Stay tuned. Taped with Rabbi Doug is next.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. I am here today with Chazan, Cantor Meir Barchichat. He is here from Jerusalem and visiting Chicago. He is the director of the Netiv Meir Foundation, which is a group that, interestingly enough, brings boys from all around to the heart of Jerusalem, brings them to the Knesset, arranges B'nai Mitzvah, Bar Mitzvah ceremonies for these boys who might not have had a Bar Mitzvah ceremony otherwise, provides Tfillin for them to get them started on their life as young adults in being B'nai Torah, and educates them, and does all this with charitable funds and so on, and has a lot of support from people around the world. And how many boys, first of all, welcome to the show, Baruch haba, welcome to Chicago. You're here in Chicago telling people about Netiv Meir and telling what you do. Tell me a little bit about how many boys, for example, in the last year have celebrated through Netiv Meir their B'nai Mitzvah, their Bar Mitzvah ceremonies.
We today, since the pandemic started, have had a hard time organizing our yearly events because obviously you cannot get so many people together. So we have been helping through various schools in the greater Jerusalem area. I think we've passed the 125 mark as of last month, and we have committed with the Misrad HaChinuch, the Ministry of Education, to try to provide until next year, when we complete 20 years of existence, over 50 schools, all the kids that need Tfillin, to try to get them paired.
Amazing, amazing. So I want to talk about you for a minute. You're born in France. You grew up in France and went on Aliyah. How old were you when you went to Israel?
Well, I actually, before I didn't leave France for my Aliyah, I first went to study in various yeshivot in England, Gateshead, in Lakewood, New Jersey. Then I did some work in Los Angeles with a friend from Yeshiva, Rabbi Pinto.
I know Rabbi Pinto.
Yes, and then I went to Israel in 1992 when I got married. And I've been there since. My children and grandchildren, all Jerusalemite, all born in Jerusalem and living here.
Yerushalmi, very nice, yes. Very nice, very nice. How do you get involved in an organization like Netiv Meir? You can't do this by yourself. You can't just say, I'm going to do this and go around and get people to join me. You have to have really some foundation and some people supporting you and helping you in your endeavors. Obviously, 20 years of doing something like this, there had to be a start. How did you start with something like this?
I will tell you. First, the reason to start that. 6 months after my wedding, exactly 30 years ago in March, I was involved in a car accident and very badly hurt. And Baruch Hashem, I got my life back. And I believed that there was a second Modeh that was due for Hashem. And I said, I'm going to try to get involved into something that helps. I felt as a new Oleh Chadash that especially educational and social problems were lacking certain basic things. Up to this day, I can tell you, Rabbi Doug, that the social affairs offices send us kids from families that need to get Tfillin because they're incapable and they don't have the means to help them in that respect.
Now you have families from observant families and families from non-observant families that are involved in Netiv Meir helping them?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I will tell you, it's so interesting, the response that we get from people all over the world. I can even say that in Panama for about 6 or 7 years we had a non-Jewish lady who claimed she came from a Jewish family and who helped us tremendously, was among the pillars, I would say, in those days when we started Netiv Meir. But I can't forget all my former students during my time in Los Angeles who were the ones, and still are the ones, who are behind the continuing existence, especially in the United States, of the foundation that help us collect funds, and that it should be recognized.
Sure.
For those.
And people should know, a brand new pair of high quality tefillin, which are written by a sofer, a scribe, the 4 parshiot in the Shel Yad, and the 4 separate parshiot in the Shel Rosh, which have to be written absolutely perfectly or they're not kosher. They can cost anywhere from $600 to $800, and that's just in general. And depending on where you are and what you get, that can be adjusted a little bit in minorly, but not majorly. It's an expensive venture. It takes a lot of time. The sofer has to do this for a living, and obviously the putting together of the leather boxes for tefillin and stuff, they're very, very expensive. So you have to collect a lot for each child just to provide tefillin, not to mention when you assist them in their actual Medinat Mitzvah and their Bar Mitzvah ceremonies, when they wouldn't have had one otherwise. All these things are very, very, consuming financial gesture that has to come along, and you have to raise a lot of money to do things like this. When you yourself got involved in this, did you ever, in your vision, see this being as successful as it's been, helping so many people?
I will tell you, I was born a firm believer with emunah in Hashem, that when you want to start something to help others, I'm sure that Hashem is there to help you all the way. It's not been very easy all the time, and I am very conscious that it's not an easy thing to do, but every step of the way we see that when we need something, there is somebody that raises the hand. I'm here to do that. We just completed yesterday a bar mitzvah that we're going to do on June 5th in Mexico for 2 twins from a family, unfortunately, that is broken. Parents are divorced, and the father had asked already to postpone the bar mitzvah so he could have the means, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. We have everyone that's they already have their tefillin, and now we have people that gathered to help us to put a nice kiddush on the day, and I will personally be there to lead the services in the first big shul of Mexico, Ramat Shalom. I'm proud to say that for me this is an honor more than anything, and obviously this is not something that exciting. I would, for the excitement to see in their eyes of those kids. And I want to mention a small, I think one of the most important remark that I ever got in those last 19 years. In one of the events that we had, we were at the hotel with all the kids together, and in those days we had those bag of talit that you have with a strap over the shoulder. Sure. And I see one of the boys.
What we call in Yiddish a zekel.
Yeah. And I see one of the boys putting it over his head, an Ethiopian boy. And I went to him and I said, are you afraid that someone is going to take it? I mean, the other 60, 70, 65 boys that were there, they all got their tefillin. He said, no, Rabbi, you don't understand. I am the first one in my family to get tefillin. I have 2 brothers and a father. They don't have tefillin. And that's why it just hit me. I said, wait, since we had 2 of the boys that didn't show up, we just gave them another set of tefillin, so they should also, the brothers should be It's so important, and I've heard that from school directors when we started in the last 2-3 years to give Tfillin directly. He says you don't realize when a boy is part of a bar mitzvah class that they do organize in the school, and he has to come with the talit, the old talit and the old tefillin of his dad or his uncle, whereas all the other ones have their new tefillin and everything. We have done something also for that to make it even better. A friend of mine in Mexico City who manufactures the famous leather pouches for talit and tefillin, he has done for us over 150 pieces. He says those are all going to be for the bar mitzvah for the next 2 years. I want to donate that for us.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
So it's just to give them a feeling that we can do more for them, but at least that we want to do it as nicely as possible.
So one of the great pictures I saw is a group of, I don't know how many, maybe 40 or so, or maybe more, I don't know how many were there, bar mitzvah boys meeting with the Prime Minister. Going to the Knesset and meeting with the Prime Minister. You know, we can't bring bar mitzvah boys to meet with Joe Biden in Washington. They're not going to open up the White House and say, sure, bring into the bar mitzvah boys. How do you arrange that? Does the Ministry of Education arrange that? How do you arrange that? And what a great honor for these children who are becoming young adults to be able to meet the Prime Minister at the time of their bar mitzvah.
I know. I need to put a little bit historical, short history about the project. I am not the owner of the project. I joined this project in 2004. Why do I say that? Each and every member of the 120 deputy from the Knesset have the possibility to organize an event in the Knesset for their constituent. There was a famous defender of the Moroccan cause in those days. His name was Charlie Bidon. For the Israeli that are going to watch us, they're going to laugh probably because they will not understand how such a man who was a very fresh person in the Knesset in his days, his baby was to organize for needy children bar mitzvah. He said, those kids cannot have a kiddush in their synagogue because they cannot afford that. I want them to come to the Knesset and meet all the big people here. Now, obviously, getting the Prime Minister to join with us in such an event doesn't happen every time, I have to admit. But what does happen is we have the blessing and the presence of the President of the Knesset. We have the Chief Rabbi of Israel. They switch. Once it's the Ashkenazi, once it's Sephardi, depending on their schedule, obviously. So basically, we do have the important people that give the blessing to those kids and also bring them a couple of presents that will tell them, you know, you were here, you made your bar mitzvah here. In 2016 actually, yeah, we got Prime Minister Netanyahu with us, and I want to convey the message that he told us. He said, you guys must be very special. So I told him, Mr. Prime Minister, we're simple people, but the people who help us are the ones that are special. So he said, don't forget every person that helps you, no matter how much they do, to tell them how special they are, and to tell them that I was so emotional to see all those kids coming and we're there to fill in, coming into the Knesset. To me, it's the best mitzvah that you can accomplish for them to start the adult life.
Very nice, very, very nice. What do you think, that may have been your highlight, and the Mexico B'nai Mitzvah. What do you think is the thing that you feel you've accomplished more than anything else doing this? Because you are in the line of doing chesed, doing acts of kindness for other people, which what a great way to work in life in a charitable way, in a chesed way for other people. What do you think has been the greatest act of chesed, or the greatest nachas you yourself have achieved in doing this for 20 years?
We have an extra program that we have also added to our agenda for particularly those boys. Some of those boys want to continue and study within a Torah environment, and we have helped. At one point, we wanted to create one of those, but we have helped them with a scholarship to study in what we call in Israel a Tichon Haredi, which is a high school where they can also have a very good studies
Yeshiva,
in
Jewish education.
Yes, yes.
More intense.
Absolutely. And we've had about 18 boys over the years that we have sponsored, and now we are sponsoring 5 more. It's very difficult. It's a very, very heavy burden. We cannot break and start a new program just like this. We hope that one day maybe we can do more in that respect, because I believe that I came from a very, very religious family. I went to the best yeshivot in the world. That didn't prevent me to get a master's in education, and then later a bachelor in business and general administration.
Where did you get those at?
In the bachelor in Torah College. The
Torah,
master's was through Lakewood Yeshiva.
My second oldest daughter graduated from Turo here in Chicago. Very nice, very nice. So this is so interesting, so interesting. You've been doing this, and you've also been a Chazan. You've sung and led davening, led services in some amazing synagogues over the years. Where did you train as a Chazan, or did you learn it on the job, as some of us learn our davening just going to shul from being a child and singing? I know we've had famous Israeli singers on here on our show, and American Jewish singers in that realm who also have worked in Chazanut. They've been a Cantor, and they started out singing Zmirot at their Shabbat table, and people realized they had a nice voice, and then they were asked to join a wedding band and sing at a wedding, and then all of a sudden, they were shul goers and they knew how to daven. They took over davening in shuls, became a chazan. Some people studied in Israel in the Cantorial College in Tel Aviv, which we've had them on our show a number of times. And how did you get into chazanut?
Well, if I have to trace it as far back as my youth, I would probably give that to my mother. She should live until 120. She loves music. She used to tell us, to forbid us to go to Reb Shlomo Karlebach's concerts because they were not proper for an Orthodox Jew, but she had all the records at home, and she would know every single piece of music. I will tell you, I grew up in a synagogue, what we used to call the Polish shul, the synagogue of the Polish immigrant. Actually, they were all Holocaust survivors. My hometown of Strasbourg, France, was just on the border of Germany, so all those who came back were there. My father, of Moroccan origin, was a shochet, and being a shochet in those days, he had to pray where the dayan was, and the dayan was in the Polish shul, so that's where we grew up. I would even go further. We were sitting on the same row with the Chazan, and I just started to develop all this knowledge of Chazanut from youth. First time I was called to daven, I was 14 years old. I had to take over on Yom Kippur from a fellow that took sick. And since then, it's been almost every year, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And then I held various positions. My longest position actually was in the big shul of Bat Yam. I was there, Chazan, for about 18 years, doing the Shabbatot, high holidays, Kriyat Torah, everything. To me, Chazanut, besides being an art, and it is an art, it's first and foremost davening.
Very nice.
Davening has so much meaning. The words, the way you pronounce them, I obviously got formal training from very famous teachers, both in Yerushalayim. Among them, I can mention the second Chazan of the big shul, Cantor Goldberg. I studied with him a little bit. We did some concerts at one point also. We were supposed to do a concert with Cantor Moshe Stern, Zichron Livracha, who just passed away. I mean, I have had a lot of experience, but mainly what I treasure are those times when you stand before the Amud and you're going to start Hineni and you're going to start Kol Nidre, and more than that. You can come on the Yom Ha'atzmaut in the morning when everybody is resting from the night that they're watching TV and start to sing the Hallel, which is something that I didn't grow up on, but I believe that today if someone doesn't understand what Hashem has given us 75 years ago, I think he's missing the point.
That's wonderful. Have you ever met my friend Chazan Cantor Naftali Hirschtig, who's the head of the Tel Aviv Cantorial School?
You cannot live in Yerushalayim.
He's been on our show a number of times.
You cannot live in Yerushalayim and not at least go to listen in those days when he was in the big shul at Cantor Hirschtig. As a matter of fact, I want to take the opportunity to wish him good health because I know he's been having also health problems. Cantor Hirschtig is a
legend.
Legend in Chazanut, and just to listen to him, you can learn a lot about how to daven.
If you want to see my intimate shows with Chazan Hirschtig and the Tel Aviv Cantorial Choir here in Chicago, go to tvrabbi.com and take a look at that, because you can scroll down and look for it. And those shows that they were on with us, at least 3 shows, maybe 4, I can't remember already, but just amazing, especially when they're just in a room and break out into song in the harmonies and the beauty of the choir. So you mentioned, and I want to mention, it is Yom Ha'atzmaut, the 75th birthday of Medinat Yisrael, of the modern state of Israel, 75 years, and it is something we want to wish everyone a Chag Sameach for, that we are now taping this show for Yom Ha'atzmaut, and I was wondering if you would sing for us something, either from Hallel or for Israel, even a Hatik, whatever you think would be appropriate that you'd sing for us. We'd love to hear you sing today in honor of Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Rabbi Doug, you're putting me on the spot, but I know how to answer. This reminds me that when I first came to Yeshiva back in 1979, after the first 6 months, our Mashgiach told us that if you claim to be a Bachur Yeshiva, you have to be ready to always say Dvar Torah. So I say that if you claim to be a Chazan, you always have to be ready to sing. I mean, unless, obviously, you're not well, but Baruch Hashem. I'm going to choose something that I really like very, very much, which is we're going to do the short version of the Avinu Shebashamayim.
Beautiful.
From Cantor, our dear Cantor Saul Zim, who is another legend. I met him, and it's just unbelievable how at his age he still has all this strength in his prayer, and he continues, and I don't know how many people have the patience to listen to that, but it's just beautiful.
Please do.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael vegoalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael vegoalo. Barech, barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit tzmichat שבשמיים צור ישראל וגואלו אבינו אבינו שבשמיים צור ישראל וגואלו ושלח אורך אורך ועמיתך אוי 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 ושלח אורך ועמיתך לשריה ויועציה ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך אוי 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 ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך אבינו אבינו שבשמיים צור ישראל וגואלו אבינו אבינו שבשמיים צור ישראל וגואלו.
Beautiful. Shir kochacha. Having you here for Yom Ha'atzmaut and finding out about these wonderful things that you do has been just an honor and a pleasure. I'm so glad that I got to meet you. Baruch haba once again to Chicago and Hatzlacha, much success in all your endeavors with Netiv Meir and helping children in Israel and around the world celebrate Bar Mitzvah, B'nai Mitzvah, and have Tfillin to do the mitzvot that are important for a boy to become a man at the age of 13. And I want to thank all of you for being with us. Remember, you can check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also see former shows on the web. If you want to contact Chazan, Cantor, Meir Barchichat, or find out more about what he does, you can email us at info@tvrabbi.com. I will forward it to Meir, and he will, I'm sure, get back to you. Thank you again for being here in Chicago and being on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Thank all of you for being with us. We hope to see you next time, right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Shalom, everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Well, he's the rabbi for me. Anytime you need. You're gonna get married or you're gonna die. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.